The World of Wonders is coming in Pokemon Go, and that means attack pool updates for Go Battle League. That's my personal favorite thing of the season. My name's Fish, this is Pallet Town PvP. We're going to take a look at the move pool updates and see what is most affected. Now, of course, there are other things that get announced when we get the information for a new season, such as the new cups that will be happening throughout the season, avatar items that you can win throughout the season, you know, poses, the reward encounters, that kind of thing. If you want all the information, I'm going to throw a link to the blog post in the description of this video. Otherwise, this is just, for me, the most important part, the attack pool updates and how they are going to affect the meta. Now, we do have some information on the website pvpoke.com, which is kind of taken speculative statistics for some of these moves, because what the blog post tends to do is say, for example, here, this first attack that is being introduced, Metal Sound, it's got the damage that it'll do. It'll have 3 power, but it doesn't have the energy generation. So we do have those stats on a version of the PvPoke website, but they are speculative and they are very much subject to change by the time the season actually rolls around and these moves come out. So keep that in mind when doing your own research. So speaking of, let's take a look at these 3 new moves. They are Metal Sound, Psywave, and Sand Attack. Of those 3, I mean, they're not particularly good. I'm going to give you just a TLDR straight on the top. Most of this, pretty underwhelming. I personally don't mind that. I'm aware of a, like we've all got to be aware of this concept, which you may have heard of, called power creep in the game, where just when there are updates to the meta, they try and make things just more and more powerful than what they were before, and you know, whenever anything is introduced that's less powerful than average, then it's underwhelming, so it kind of pressures things upwards. So being aware of that phenomenon, I personally don't mind that there are updates and moves in the game that are like eh. But there are some big ones too, so let's go through them. So of these, let's see, the Metal Sound, it's a fast attack. Of all these Pokemon, this entire top row already has access to very powerful, slow, but high energy generation and high damage moves. So the Magnemite family all has Volt Switch, and Wormadam and Bronzong already has Confusion. So they're preferring those moves over the Metal Sound. Clink, Clang, and Kling Clang, they do prefer Metal Sound over Thundershock, but they're still very, very low on the overall ranking. So, like, they don't make it usable. Psywave is even worse. The highest rank of these 6 Pokemon that get Psywave, in Great League, the highest ranked Pokemon is Malamar at number, I think it was 444. And it's really not, like, marginally better in Ultra League, but it's still in the 400s, I think. And even then, it's not actually recommending Psywave, it's still recommending Psycho Cut. So Psywave is an absolute bust, but hey, it could get a buff in the future. I heard in an interview once that these kind of details are all planned out like 6 or 9 months in advance, something like that. It's planned out a fair way ahead. So maybe in the next move update, they've already got a buff planned for Psywave. Who knows? Sand Attack is the one that we'll see the most of. Still not going to be particularly common, but you've got things like Hippopotas and Hippowdon, who at the moment only have kind of hard-hitting but slower energy generation moves like Ice Fang and Fire Fang and Bite. So now with Sand Attack, it's got a much faster energy generating move, so it can get to Body Slams, Weather Balls, Earth Powers much quicker. Same with Furfrou, which Furfrou is like disappointingly underwhelming. Like, it's got good moves and it's got good stats, like bulk, but it just doesn't seem to perform. Sucker Punch is the recommended fast move at the moment, which is probably the biggest thing holding it back. Sand Attack will improve it a reasonable amount, and then like Stoutland also does better with Sand Attack over Lick. The Pokemon that also know Mudshot, Sand Attack seems to be an improvement over that. So it's not quite as much energy generation, but doing more damage than what Mudshot is. So Palisand and Sandygast both running Sand Attack over Mudshot, and like Sand Slash as well is going to be preferring Sand Attack. The attack changes, very, very small. All of them are very small. One's a bit bigger, but we'll get to that. So Shadowbone, 75 to 80 power. It is just 5 power change, which is a very small amount, the smallest possible increment, and only one Pokemon in the game knows that move so far, and that is Alolan Marowak. Now, I don't know what the reasoning is. Like, I don't know who was deciding we need to give Shadowbone a bit more power, but it's that they've done it. And if you look at the rankings, the change between what it is pre-buff and post-buff is so marginally small. It's really not making much of a difference. Same with this. This one's one of the more interesting ones. Brick Break, which has had its energy cost increased and will guarantee to lower the opposing Pokemon's defense by 1 stage. Again, like with those new moves that have been introduced into the game, most Pokemon that know Brick Break will not want to run Brick Break. Like, it was already a very, very poor quality move, and now the energy cost is even higher. I'm not exactly sure that defense drop is worth it. Basically, it'll only be useful for things that don't have any better moves already. Like, Vigoroth is not going to run Brick Break. Maybe for Evolution Cup, if that comes back, then that might be an option, those counters doing extra damage. But other than that, like, Hakama-O is probably one of the things that'll benefit from this, because it's only running Dragon Claw and Brick Break as charge moves. You're not really getting much else out of it. Then we've got Cross Chop, which has been slightly buffed. The biggest beneficiary of that will be Shadow Machamp, which is already doing so much damage with its Shadow Cross Chops. But then you've also got Obstagoon as well, which it basically only has the 2 moves in Night Slash and Cross Chop, and so just being able to do 10% extra damage with that Cross Chop is going to help it out a lot. Aquatail has been buffed, and this is the only one that's going to affect Master League, and even then, marginally. Origin Form Palkia was already at the top of the Master League rankings. It's now going to be even more dominant, but like just by that much. And same with Gyarados as well, which typically runs Crunch and Aquatail as its charge moves. Then there's a few other Pokemon that benefit from it in lower leagues, like Drapion, and there's one particular Pokemon that we will look at in a minute. But the other water move that has been buffed is Water Pulse, and this one is a bigger buff. It's had its power increased by 10 and its energy cost decreased. Now, the speculation on PvPoke is that it's going to drop from 60 to 55 energy, and there are 2 Pokemon that I can think of that might benefit from this. One is Walrein, where its coverage move is Earthquake, and what's it hitting with Earthquake? It's hitting fires, and it's hitting rocks. It's also a good neutral move against other water types, which is the biggest reason why you might still want Earthquake over Water Pulse. But that aside, if you're in a meta where there's a lot of if there's a lot of fire and rock types around, then you might actually want Water Pulse over the Earthquake, because it is 10 less energy if the stats are right, for a decent amount of damage as well. Now, the attack availability updates. Let's skip these top 4. These 4 are the big beneficiaries of this new update. But let's just take a look at the others. Araquanid getting Water Pulse. On the Sims, it's still preferring Bubble Beam and Bug Buzz, but yeah, Double Nuke could easily be an option. Throw, Sork, Crocodile, Crabrawler, Crabominable, and Como-O all getting Brick Break. Hakamo already knows it. So, and like, I don't think any of them are being improved by that move. Diglett, Dugtrio, Graveler, and Golem getting Mudshot. Those were all legacy. I think all 4 of them had Mudshot as a legacy move, which means you needed an Elite TM to be able to get that move. Now they've been unlegacied, so you can just get it with a normal TM. Same with Psybeam on Starmie. Still a terrible move. Wouldn't want to run it. And I think Draining Kiss as well for Curlier was an Elite TM move or an unobtainable move. I know Bullet Seed for Laleep was an unobtainable move. There was like, it was like slated as a move that Laleep could learn and then deleted from the Pokemon like just like a day after it came out. So that's been kind of unlegacied now, and same with Gastrodon with Earthquake, although again, Earth Power is so much better than Earthquake. So these are all just kind of, it's kind of nice because, you know, there's one less need for an Elite TM, but also kind of not nice because, say you want to use a Graveler and you want Rock Throw, like that, there's just an extra move in the pool now that'll use another fast TM. Or if you want to grab Tackle on Starmie, you know, it's just an extra fast TM that you are using for that. And especially like with the Charge TM. Charge TMs are at more of a premium. So let's get back to these top four. These are the big four. Goodra with the new improved Aqua Tail. So let's check this out. In Great League, Goodra. Currently sitting at number 99 on the Open Great League rankings. It's going up to 25 in the new rankings. And if we look at the Matrix battle, not Godra. No, it's not 3 O's either. There we go, we got it. Let's go. Okay, so its previous moveset of Mighty Water and Power Whip versus its new moveset. And we will put that against the Great League meta. Whoops, why is that not going? Why is that not happening? There we go. Let's try again. So, it's gaining Annihilate, gaining Cresselia, with Grass Knot Moonblast as well, so that's a pretty good get. And Galarian Stunfisk as well as Swampert. I'm surprised it was losing to Swampert in the ones earlier than that. The average win rate, or the average score, has gone up 20 points. With a 22-23 win-loss record instead of 18-27. Now, the Ultra League, it looks pretty underwhelming in the 1 shields. Maybe do your own research in the 0s and 2s, see if that makes any difference. But Goodra is going to be an improvement, even though it like looks kind of minor here. I think Goodra will really, really benefit from that Aqua Tail, because it's like, it's the same energy as Muddy Water, but Muddy Water was so bad a move that it's like, it felt so bad if your opponent called the bait, like, because it just does nothing to them. So Aqua Tail at least has a little bit of a pinch of its own that can make a difference in battle. So the next one is your Empoleon. It was Empoleon next, right? So it's getting the Fast Attack Steel Wing. And along with Feraligatr, which, this one's my personal favorite, Feraligatr, by the way. So Empoleon and Feraligatr both have Waterfall as their typical fast move. Now they're both getting moves that make it much more dynamic. They're moves that generate good energy and do a lot of damage, which means that you have so much flexibility in whether you like farm down an opponent, build up energy for the next Pokemon. They've both got Hydro Cannon, and one's got Drill Peck, which is the same energy as Hydro Cannon, and the other's got Ice Beam as a second move, which is higher in energy but gives it some really nice coverage against grass. So they're both pretty similar. Let's take a look at Empoleon first in the Great League. Formerly 219 for the Shadow and 225 for the regular. And where are we at? This is this is Ultra League. Let's go Great League. Gone up to 37 and 21. Let's take a look at the Matrix. Empoleon with the previous Waterfall. And Empoleon with the new moveset. This is just the regular. You're improving Altaria, Azumarill, Dugong, Gligar, the Shadow Gligar, Goodra, Lickitung, that's Lickitung, Mandibuzz, Mantine, Sableye, Shadow Swampert, Trevenant, Umbreon, and Venusaur. That's what, 19 extra wins in the one shield, and that's in Great League. And that's just the regular as well. The Shadow, I think, is even more, but just for the sake of time, let's move on. In Ultra League, let's look at Ultra League. So we'll look at the Matrix for Ultra League. That's Great League still. Here's the Ultra League one. No, that's still Great League. Why is that still Great League? PV Poke, come on. Here we go. Empoleon with Waterfall. Empoleon with Steel Wing. Not quite as potent. It's actually losing Steelix, which is annoying. I assume that's with a Breaking Swipe bait and an Earthquake. But then you're gaining Shadow Dragonite, Altered Form Giratina. That's huge. Gliscor, Greedent, Guzzlord, Gyarados, Tentacruel, Venusaur, Virizion, and Walrein. Virizian's a big one too, because it's like doing a lot of... that is Leaf Blade Sacred Sword as well. So yeah, it's using that double kick Sacred Sword combo on you, and you're still winning with the Drill Peck. So big ups for Empoleon. Now I'm going to skip for Alligator, because like I said, that's my favorite. I'm going to take a look at Gallade, which is the fourth one, and Gallade is learning the Fast Attack Psycho Cut. So, well, Gallade is currently running Confusion, which is good. It gets to Leaf Blade in close combat pretty quickly. It's 3 Confusions for a Leaf Blade and 4 Confusions for a close combat. And it also allows you to do a lot of fast move damage. It is kind of like... I always love a Pokemon that has a good balance between fast move damage and charged attack damage, because it just increases how dynamic the Pokemon is. Gallade is sacrificing that with Psycho Cup, but it still makes it much better, because it's now getting to those... It's got really, really nice synergy with those charge moves. So it's getting to each Leaf Blade in 4 seconds, which is very fast. Yeah, I don't think there is any Pokemon... I don't think there's any Pokemon that gets to a move quicker than 8 seconds in the game, right? And then it's getting to the close combats every 5 seconds. So it makes it very easy to build up to 2 close combats and then fire them back to back, or maybe bait with a Leaf Blade and then throw a close combat, dip, bank the other one, and then come back to nuke at the end. It makes it very, very flexible. So in Great League, let's see, that is Ultra League. Keep using the wrong tabs. In Great League, 321 and 301. Post-update, 84 and 22. That Shadow Gallade has gone up from 301 to 22 in the Great League rankings. In Ultra League, again, the Shadow's the one getting the most benefit. It's going up from 228 to 31. What are its extra wins? Let's go with the Shadow, actually. We'll look at the Shadow, because that was the more impressive one. Gaining Deoxys Defense, that's huge. Gaining Greedent, gaining Greninja. As a Psychic type, well, fighting Psychic, but as a very glassy Pokemon that won't like Hydro Cannons, the fact that it's outpacing Greninja with the Leaf Blades and close combats. We got Guzzlord, we got Registeel, beating Registeel. It's beating Alolan Sandslash. It's beating Shadow Swampert, of course, and it's beating Umbreon. Umbreon's a pretty big one too. It used to struggle with that. Now, it is picking up a few losses here. It doesn't do as well against Ampharos, Gyarados, Alolan Muck, Steelix, or Venusaur. So that is worth keeping in mind. And once again, look up the Gallade matchups in Great League and the regular ones in both leagues as well, because it obviously makes a huge difference. Maybe not necessarily, well, no, I was going to say maybe not necessarily an improvement, but no, I'm going to stick by that. Definitely 100% an improvement. But it does have its drawbacks in a way that Steelwing doesn't necessarily have for Empoleon. Now, finally, let's look at Feraligatr. Oh boy, Feraligatr. Not Feraligatr, Feraligatr. There we go. 456 and 419 for the regular and Shadow in Great League. I think our worst performers of the 4 that we've looked at, if I recall correctly. It is number 16 and number 9 now, post-update, with that Shadow Claw. Right? Huge. What's it gaining? Let's find out. Feraligatr with Waterfall. And Feraligatr with Shadow Claw. Altaria, Annihilate, with both movesets. Azumarill, Cresselia, Deoxys, Dugong, Frostlass, Gligar, the Shadow variant, Goodra, Jellicent, Alolan, Shadow Ninetales, Alolan, Shadow Sandslash, Shadow Swampert, Talonflame, Trevenant, and Venusaur. There are some grass types in there too. Skarmory is a loss, but I've looked it up. That Skarmory, it does win in the 0... Well, like, it beats the Skarmory in the 0s and 2s. So even though the 1s is a loss here, it's still picking up the 0s and 2s, which is, like, clap, clap, clap. That's just the regular Feraligatr. I'm sure the Shadow would be even better. Let's look at what it does in the Ultra League. 406 and 448. 5 and 2. 5 and 2. Feraligatr, Shadow Feraligatr is now number 2 in the Ultra League rankings. I like Feraligatr. It's a fun Pokemon. Let's take a look at what the Shadow does in the Ultra League. Whoops. We wanted Shadow, didn't we? It picks up. Oh, right, we got 2 Shadows here. That was almost a really anticlimactic end to the video. Did someone screenshot my face at that moment? When I thought there was no... Here we go. Picking up Annihilate, Cresselia, Altered Form Giratina, Gliscor, Granbull, Swampert, Shadow Dragonite, Altered Giratina, Jellicent, Gyarados, Ninetales, Shadow Alolan, Toxicroak, and Umbreon at the cost of Cobalion, Greedent, Mandibuzz, and Obstagoon. Which is fair enough. Those Shadow Claws are going to be double resisted by Greedent, triple resisted by Obstagoon, single resisted by Mandibuzz. The Cobalion is a bit of a surprise, but I'm sure that can be easily worked around. So those are the 4 Pokemon that are going to be the big winners in the World of Wonders season of Go Battle League. I hope this helps. Maybe comment in the description with some sims that you've found of these Pokemon, like in the Pallet Town PvP Discord server where we all hang out and discuss kind of PvP and help each other get better at the game. We have been sharing sims with each other, and that's how I found out that Feraligatr still beats Skarmory in the 0s and 2s. There are a lot of other cool things that we discuss like that. There are links to the other Pallet Town places, like the Discord server, in the description of the video. But yeah, like I said, chuck your own sims in the comments because that helps share the video around. Good luck, and may the leads be in your favor.